who was the GH15?
It was a shared account.
All right, guys, welcome back. Another episode of the Goon Platoon with my co-host Justin Harris. He's actually got a serious name this time, and we are blessed to have. I'm gonna try to say it. Antoine Vaillant. Did I say it right?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, right. Good. Yeah, so we're back, and we were super excited to have Antoine on because not only has he been around the industry like absolutely forever. The guy started, teenage years and whatnot. I remember seeing you personally. I think it was an ad. I can't remember the company, but it was like a fat loss ad. And
I think it was VPX.
Yeah, it might have been VPX. Yeah. And I remember because I was like a young teenager at the time getting into it. And I saw it like that you were a teenager too, like you were, around that age. And it was just, I was like, holy crap, dude, this guy is massive. Like, how do I get like that? So you've been around a while and stuff. So for anyone who doesn't know, who may be new to bodybuilding or fitness, things like that, and watching our channel, if you want to give like a quick background of, like where you're at, like when you started, things like that.
Yeah. So I've always trained for some reason. Like even when I was 9 years old, I remember doing like crunches and push-ups and things at home. And then I had like this old weight set that just stumbled around the house I was living with, in the York with the cement. We all had
yeah.
I was doing curls with that, and then I think it was I was 14. I was getting good results just from that, right? Because I guess puberty was hitting, and then at 15, I joined bodybuilding.com. We started reading stuff on there, the message boards. Muscle Mayhem came a little bit after that, and so then I realized to look like the guys on there, which was like I was like googling it was like Alta Vista back in the day. Google was
yeah.
So I was like finding pictures of like Lee Priest, Kevin Levrone, Ronnie Coleman, Jake Elder, all the old stuff, and I was like, oh wait, to look like that, I need to do more than just crunches, concentration curls for the bicep, and push-ups. So, and then I wanted to compete like they did. And I was like for 14, 15. And then at 15, I asked my mom to get me a membership at a gym. So she gets me 3 months at this gym. I go there and I tell the owner of the gym, I want to compete in bodybuilding. And I never stepped in a gym before. So it was kind of like a destined for that. And then
you won your first show at age 16, right?
16, yeah. It was junior class, which was under 21 in Quebec. And
crazy,
yeah. And then I did my own prep, my own everything. I even came up with like I used a bronzer from the pharmacy. The guy was like, "No, that's not what you're supposed to do." I did everything myself. I got help, and I looked fine. But so then I did everything myself, and then I won the class I was doing. And then they gave me a lot of confidence because I was like, "Wait, I did all that by myself." And then I felt really proud. And of course, when I started training, I got results really quick because of the genetics. So that gave me some sort of like validation, and people gave me feedback. And I guess that's how I stayed in it at first. And I just started like, I really liked it. I've always trained, and I'm always going to train. As long as I'm going to move, I'm going to train. So that's 100%. So that's why I did bodybuilding, because of the training. And the thing is, once I retire from bodybuilding, the cool thing is that I'll be able to train more with different things. Because now it's like I'm still like zoned in on like the shows, right? So I can't do jiu-jitsu, I can't do all these things, but I really love training in general and just improving.
So let me ask you really quick, when you talk about like always moving and stuff, like you can't stop, dude. So I know you tore one. Did you tear 2 biceps? And then so you tore 2. Yeah.
This one here was
wow.
I think 2 weeks out from the it's okay now. It's okay.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah.
2 weeks out from the New York Pro. That was annoying. That was my first one. Very scary.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's gonna happen, right? And this one is actually
jeez.
You can see as well. This is like tan from the guest posing, by the way. So there's a little scar right here. Yeah, you see it a little bit.
Yeah.
That was actually
a little scar.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Exactly 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago to the day. And I was like not prepping for anything, but but the funny thing is that both tears happened a year later. I do the rehab and everything. A year later, I do a show. And then both years I won a show and qualified for the Mr. Olympia. So it's like, I hope for this is not the pattern or something, but it's just to tell people that get injured, you can come back better. Sometimes injuries they make you do things better.
And you still train. Trained.
Yeah, I did legs the day 2 days later or something, and then I would train one side, and because it's like a transfer, in nature. I read it somewhere. I think it helped. It's 25% growth on the other side.
Yeah, there's lots of data to support that. I mean, if you get one side injured, keep training the other side. And there's a weird thing. Your body kind of understands that it's symmetrical, and it can't just have one side and functioning and one side not. So even though you're only training one side, you do get some carryover. Yep.
I mean, I did it from both injuries. That's what I did. And I think it helped a little bit,
Yeah.
And the second time I took more of my time easing into it. Because for some reason, I think the tendon was cut in the middle, so it was longer to stretch it. This one was cut right at the end, so that was easy. So just it's super easy to get back from here to here. It was easy, but the last just this, it took 4 weeks. So but both injuries I recovered pretty good, I think, and I didn't stop me. I'm lucky that if you got to tear something in bodybuilding, it's a distilled tear from the bottom of the bicep. That's the easiest injury fix, in my opinion.
So going along with trying to fix things, so we got a few questions in from people, from fans, and someone asked, "How much Anadrol is enough? I drink a gallon of whole milk a day."
How much Anadrol is enough? I drink a gallon of milk a day.
Yeah, that's whole milk.
I think you should stop both. How's that?
All right.
Zero mLs and 0 milligram.
Yeah. So going back, all right. So, you do well at your first show. And I think me and Justin had a couple photos. I
remember you finding out about you. Must have been on the forums around 2008. I was kind of just leaving. My last bodybuilding competition was 2007. And then I kind of did powerlifting for a little bit. But I remember I was still on the forums all the time in 2008. And I remember you popping up. It must have been Muscle Mayhem because I was on there a lot. But you already had a very impressive physique.
Yeah, I mean, those were that was the interesting days because it was like social media before it was actually a thing. And I was sharing pictures and videos on the message boards already. So I was doing the same thing as I'm doing now, kind of. It's that's a funny thing. But I remember your name from a long time ago too. It's I remember you were huge and stuff. You were already big. Yeah, you were super big. You always been big and you were strong. And I was you were explaining stuff. I'm this is too complicated for me.
Nothing changed, man.
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah, Troponin. Yeah. But Justin, Justin had look, I'm going to put it out there now that those things are long gone, but Justin had quite a few troll accounts also.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I won't give the names, but I had quite a few on Get Big. Yeah. I troll myself sometimes.
Who was the GH15?
It was a shared account as far as I know. I don't know. I think Nasser might have been
Nasser early on.
Yeah, I've heard about.
I don't think it was. Only because he posted long after Nasser died, but I would believe it was him. And there was another guy from Chicago that I think's dead now, a younger guy, and another overweight, not overweight. It was on Get Big. He was his name Alex or something. He was in IT. But I'm pretty sure it was a shared account. And one of the guys I was on a podcast with around 2010 or 11, and he was the one guy from Chicago. And Shane, his name was Shane. I can't remember what he was on the message boards. And I kind of mentioned that, and they kind of giggled, and so I think it was a shared account. I was never involved with GH15 though.
That's like bodybuilding, online bodybuilding history right there.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Those are fun times. I thought 2002 to 2009 or so when the forums were everything. That was that for me, probably also because it was when I was really involved in the sport, but that was the most fun.
Dude, yeah, if you ever want to sort of go down memory lane and like you need a good laugh, just go back and sort of go, look up your name in the forums. And dude, the comments are hilarious. Like, he's gonna be great, he's gonna be bad, this and that. And you can look back and look how good your career was.
Oh yeah,
and
we found
everything.
one guy that said what they were comparing you and Steve Kuklo, and I think that both you guys were going to amount to nothing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I remember when I turned pro, I actually shot with him for MD. He was full off season, like over 300 pounds. It was just funny because I remembered him from Muscle Mayhem. He was the other kid. It was like, wait, this kid's kind of my age and actually way better than me. I was like, what the fuck? So it was good to be exposed to all that. But yeah, I remember also the message boards where I would see like Victor Martinez, IFBB Pro, he posted. What's he saying? I was so excited. Every time a pro posted, I was like, what is he saying? Oh my God, we're so blessed. A pro posted.
They'd have like different colored stars. It'd be like
I
blue
know.
stars, so you know that it was they were
It's
legit.
like, it was like they were like other like another level.
Yeah.
Because
that's what like changed now, right? Because social media, I don't know if it's better or worse, but when we used to go to the expo, back in the 2000s and stuff, expos were insane. And you that was one of the, if you didn't go to shows, that was sort of the only time you saw your favorite pros.
Yeah.
So now it's cool because you have more contact with fans, obviously, Antoine, and you get to affect more people's lives, like in a good way. So that's cool. But it also, sometimes I wish there was still that mystery of like the pro. So when you went to a show, it was like, oh my God, they'd walk on a stage and you'd be like, oh my God.
Because you never saw them. You only saw what they gave you in the magazines. I mean, you never saw any self pictures or anything. And the forum, you'd very, very rarely. And when you did, it was like King Kamali in his kitchen or something, or like Chad Nichols would post a teaser photo of Ronnie before the Olympia, and everyone would be like, oh.
Now, dude, if you don't post like you naked going every week into the show, it's bad,
Yeah, you get well, it can even hurt your placings even at this point. I mean, it's become such a big deal. If people don't know you, it's not impossible, but it's hard. Like if you're trying to turn pro or something, it really does help if you're on there.
If you're not, if people don't know you that much and you look really, really good and you're shredded, post a lot.
Yeah.
But there's guys like, for example, like Ian or whoever, like at the top, right? They don't have to post all the time, and people could be like, I wonder how they look. And then they post something, and then it fucking makes the bodybuilding channels and people talk about it. Like Rami, for example, Rami is a good example. He would do an update. Yeah. All the guys, Nick Tristan Power, they will all talk about the update, right?
Well, and he would be smart because he just posted some and no one knows if they're new or old because he's always standing in front of that same door. And it's like, is that from 2014? And so, and then people would like try to investigate and try to figure out when the photo was from. And they'd like compare, his tricep smaller here. This is a new photo.
People should Google Big Ramy 2013 New York Pro.
Dude,
I forgot about that. I did it not long ago. He was like, I think that was it wasn't as big, but that was the best Ramy.
He was 220 pounds, like athlete shape in 2010.
Yeah.
Well, but he went from looking like an average gym rat, like some muscle, but I think he weighed, 220 pounds at 12% body fat to 3 years later looking like that. I mean, it was just like a rocket.
He was doing the curls with his friends. Is that the one you're talking about? He's doing the curls with his friends in the gym. He has
probably, yeah.
Normal.
Yeah, he's just a regular guy, and that was 2010.
He was working at the gym.
Yeah, he was working. Yeah. And then someone invited him for some extra anabolic chicken, and
dude, I always think like Antoine. I think that because I saw that physique too, and I looked recently. If that physique like placed in the Olympia like this year, you know what I'm saying, with the tight waist and the V taper and the big arms and the quads that looked untouched, and man, how would that do?
I don't know. I think it would do really well because if you look at the top two, Hadi and Derek, they're both like very nice shape.
Yeah,
and they're pretty balanced. They're not out of proportions, like waist wise and all that stuff. So I think they would do a lot very well. It's like for some reason, I think I never knew what it was, but for some people, for a lot of bodybuilders, I see them like they try to chase the size maybe, and then weird stuff happens. So, but I always wonder, is it age, injury, too much food for too long, or
well, I think like with Ramy, you can see his at first he had like an issue. It looked like with his left delt, and it was like really capped, but it was almost like like part of his rear delt was like atrophied a little bit. And then I think it's a nerve issue, whether it's like nerve at the shoulder. I would imagine it's probably more like the spine, because Ronnie kind of got the same thing in his left tricep. And the reason I say this is because I have a similar thing. I mean, not quite to Ramy's level.
Not trying to
nothing
brag,
on me is
but
quite to Ramy's level, but the close. Yeah, me and him are basically the same. I mean, we both have an atrophied left tricep. So
yeah.
But and I think that's what mine is. I remember like having some kind of issue, nerve pinched or something, and this was, you know, like for me it started like 2002ish.
yeah.
And it took years to really kind of develop. But now that whole like left rear delt, left tricep, and left lat are kind of clearly different than the right side.
You ever guys ever notice that when you like come off, or like you're running like a low health, recuperation dose or something, that like sort of the nicks and bangs that you got the year of or the year before like start to show up, and you're like, I haven't felt this.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't realize how many injuries I had until I stopped competing and like downsize. And then all those, like, I'm like, geez, did I tear this bicep? Was that lat always like that? It's like I have like all these little micro tears or things that I didn't really notice at the time.
mm-hmm.
But isn't the stuff anti-inflammatory to some degree?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's I didn't even think about that, but yeah, good point. Yeah.
I got a question for you actually, Justin, because you know stuff, right? So Phil Viz is a friend of mine. We were talking about that the other day on the other podcast. You know those lats that are like clearly cut there, and then they kind of slide and the erectors come out.
Yeah.
Ramy, Ian.
Yeah. We talked about that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it, I don't know if it's every case, but I know because I have a personal experience with this, pinning my lat and hitting a nerve, or not necessarily hitting the nerve, but like maybe the oil compressed against the nerve. And this happened to me, I don't know, 2006-ish or something. And it was like the worst pain ever. I mean, like I was running around the house like a chicken, like I didn't know what to do with myself. Like it hurt so bad I couldn't even sit still. And it took like 15 minutes to kind of slowly die down. And then after that lat felt weird. And over the course of like the next year or two, it was like it pulled up. And then I have that exact same thing only on that left side where that happened. And I don't know that it's the case with everyone. I think it's clearly a nerve issue, whether the nerve was damaged from like a spot injection or the nerve was injected from the spine, because, the nerves come out of the spine. It can happen there. It can happen anywhere. But I know that's what happened to me. And so I think a lot of people, it's because, especially when you're in prep and you're doing, more frequent injections and you're looking for places to put it, people pin their lats, and the lats typically are a real easy spot. It's like smooth as butter. It doesn't hurt. And I've talked to several people that same thing has happened to, like that nerve compression. And so I think in at least some of the cases, it's that. I think some of it might be, nerve issues coming out of the spine. But I think a lot of it, because it's so specific that it's like that lower lat, and it's, they kind of get pulled up. And I think it's from
it's like almost like a zigzaggy a little bit.
Yep.
Kind of like the way,
and so you can picture, because the nerve, because the nerve comes out, and what happens, then it fans out and it spreads out. The nerve comes out of the spine and it spreads out like that fan look. So if you damage that nerve before that fan, then that's what's going to be. You're going to see that all the muscle that nerve would innervate previously is going to slowly die out. That's think crazy. That's what a lot of it is.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense, right? At first, I thought it was like, maybe they're getting so big that they can't squeeze as far back with their back, because it's all erectors.
Yeah. But I think like the way if you just go first principles and you say, what do we know about the human body? We know that, the nerves tell the muscle to fire. We know that, the nerve comes out of the spine and it slowly spreads out and fans out, and it branches out more and more. And it's like, that's, if you imagine what would happen if that nerve was damaged, it's essentially that exact look that you see on people. And you've seen it, like Dennis Wolf only had it on one side. Yeah. So you've seen it like unilateral too, where so I would imagine like his was like mine, where maybe that happened. An injection compressed that nerve, kind of damaged it. And like, I can't remember what lat it was, but only one of his lats was like that.
But remember, he also had that neck issue that retired him, so it could have been a nerve from
Yeah.
somewhere else.
But I think it's clearly a nerve issue, and I think it's most likely, and in most cases, I think it's that. It could be it's just the way it looks and the way it you can almost see like where the nerves would spread out, and that's that if tissue dies off.
You see Jay Cutler,
That's Jay on the right, right?
young Jay, and then look at the Jay.
Yep, and that's exactly, you can almost like picture like how that those
like
nerves,
retracted.
Yeah, it's like that all the muscle that nerve. So you can almost see like where it got, almost like where he would inject basically, and it got like pinched there, and then the way the nerves spread out and fan out from there, that muscle tissue kind of dies off. And I could be wrong, and it's maybe not every case that's the case, but I know for me that's what happened.
Because you can really see like on this side here, Christmas tree perfect, and then but then the erectors are bigger, and then it's like
and you also have other things, because like GH causes nerve compression. That's what carpal tunnel is basically, and it's not like that's the only area in the body that the nerve, you get that swelling in the tissue, and like everyone's had lower back pumps. You have all that compression on the nerves there, that could play a role. But I think in a lot of cases, because I know at least several people can like basically replay when it happened to them. It happened on one side.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so I think at least in some of the cases that's what it is.
Well, we just had another question come in. I didn't want to.
Yep.
So
is it live?
No, we had some that are coming through like Instagram and stuff.
Oh man, we've been getting them like crazy. Okay. That's what I said.
Yeah,
we never thought in a million years that many people liked you, but posted an Instagram story and they just been rolling in.
So this one's from Carlos Antonio. Would Antoine rather have Harrigan or an Olympia top 5?
I don't even want my hair back for like less than that. Like you want $10,000? Oh, I would get my hair back for $10,000.
$10,000, yeah, you get your hair back. Yeah.
Where's the cutoff then?
Yeah.
Another like, California pro? No. I think it looks good.
Yeah, you can rock it. Not everyone can rock it.
It's not bad. I don't have. Some people they're like they have this all the time.
Oh yeah. Head.
Right now,
no, like, that's smooth, man. Do you wax it?
But no, my hair back. I thought about it. But you know what? I don't think I don't like is just the fact that you could. There's hair here, and then it just stops. So it's like you have that line here. I'd rather get rid of the line. I was like, instead of a hair transplant, I'm like, can I just laser off the rest?
Yeah.
So there's nothing anymore. Like nothing. So, I would probably get the Olympia title.
Yeah,
my hair 100%.
Well, they said Olympia top 5.
Top 5.
Still solid.
Hair. Oh, actually, I don't know.
That means you don't even.
I'll have to review with my fiance, see what she thinks. But I think she likes the bald.
Yeah, chicks dig the bald.
That's so. You had some pretty good success with your career, especially going back to like the beginning and stuff. And like I said, I remember seeing you in ads, and it was at this time you did have a full head of hair, but I think you were doing like a Most Muscular or something, and you were in a fat loss ad. How was it getting a sponsor back then? Compared to now. Obviously we know the whole magazine thing. Not really a thing anymore. There's no real contracts like that. So what was it like? Because you've seen the industry change. So what was it like back then compared to now?
So right now you get everybody's sponsored in the sense that you have an affiliate code, you can make commission, you can rep a brand. So there's so many people sponsored, and now like the big contracts, the companies are giving less and less of those big contracts. So back then, a good example is my friend Frank McGrath. He would like do something for Animal, like 2 expos a year, shoot 3 or 4 times, and get the like over 10 grand, big bucks every month, doing nothing. So now now the companies, like, it's better for the companies now because people are working really hard for like very little. Yeah. And then there's some people who can still like get the big contracts, like the top Olympians, right? These guys, or like the big time influencers, like millions of followers. But back then, my first good paid sponsorship was VPX. It was 1,000 US per month. So 1,000.
It was good.
But as a 21-year-old, I was like, that's cool.
You're getting paid to lift weights. Heck yeah.
And I didn't have to do like there was nothing, there was no post, nothing. So it was just you got $1,000 that they're gonna be available for them, and they're gonna use your pictures in the magazines. Because back then that's what the companies paid you for. It was supposed to use their pictures in the magazines, and then you had to go do shoots for them and appearances sometimes in a store, things like that. But now it's like companies are paying you to post on your own things, and maybe send them stuff and maybe do videos for them and travel and stuff. But I think back then, like even Universal, when they hired me, I was getting a little bit of money at first, and then more and more. And it's like it wasn't by posting that I was working. I was like doing my own videos, and then they were using me for their own YouTube channel with the road trips and stuff. So I was doing lots of appearances for them. But it was very different. I find that I think I was probably the youngest Canadian to be sponsored by an American company back then. And yeah, but it was cool though.
Were you sponsored as an amateur? Were you sponsored as like, before you turned pro?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, because I was doing the videos already, and I was I guess up and coming, and I was like so pretty much how it happened. I was Irvin Gelb is a photographer. He lives in LA. I don't know if he still lives there or not, but he said, "Come to California. I'll shoot you. I promise it's gonna be worth it." I'm like, really? I was like, gonna pay for my own thing. Like, so I was like saving up money at the gym, and I was working like little guy at the gym, right? Front desk, cleaning up, racking the weights. But then I was like dieting for the shoot, hard and stuff. Then I was even at the end, I went and did the shoot with Irvin Gelb, shoot for a whole week, and out of my own pocket, didn't make one dime for this. Came back, and then somebody said, "Hey, you should do the nationals again in 1 week." I was like, "But I dieted for the photo shoot." No, just do it. Like so I won Mr. Canada Junior as a 18-year-old just before 2019. And then the following year, I was like, "I'm not going to do it. I'll just diet for this photo shoot and let somebody else win." But then somebody said, "No, just go anyway." So I went with 1 week's notice and won that. And then I had like a little pot at the gym because I didn't have any money because I spent for the photo shoot. Sponsor me, put donations and tip so I can like do the show. And people at the gym like dropped $20, $5, $200. So I ended up doing the show anyway. But I tell you the story with the photo shoot because Jackal Walk back then, the guy behind VPX, bought all the pictures for $7,000 US before even signing me. So he wanted me. So that's why I could have bargained for more money, but I didn't know, right?
Yeah.
The fact, so he wanted me for sure. He wanted to use the pictures, and so yeah, I remember Gail made $7,000 out of my pocket. But it allowed me to be sponsored for I don't know if it was a year or two with them, but that was cool. But back then, it was like very rare you would hear about a bodybuilder being sponsored.
Yeah,
all the bodybuilders, even national level, they were all working real jobs.
Yeah,
all of them. There was no influencers. We would do the content for the magazines. That's all the content. The bodybuilding content was all the magazines and some online on the message boards, but that was like underground shit.
Mm-hmm.
Online was the underground. Now it seems like online is mainstream.
Oh yeah. Because like we were talking about troll accounts earlier, because I grew up without the internet, so the internet's still like not real to me, So like if someone makes fun of me or whatever, I just picture like myself making fun of people like on a troll account. But like my kids, that they view it differently. Like the internet's like as real as real life.
Real life. Yeah.
There's actually a cool stat. 90% of people over the age of 30 watch movies without subtitles. That's me. I would never turn subtitles on a movie. 70% of people under 30 watch movies with subtitles.
Why? Why is that?
I think it's because they grew up, almost all their interactions with people were text and written communication online. Because all my kids, I know when they watch the movie, because they change the TV and they have subtitles on, all of them, all four of them. And I was like, I thought it was just weird about my kids. And then somehow I came across this stat, and it's basically like a cutoff. Like if you grew up without the internet, you just want to watch the movie.
Yeah.
If you grew up with the internet, you're used to getting your information by reading it, and they put the subtitles on.
That is weird.
It was funny because I started. That's how I became really good at English. Is because I was reading everything online in English from like really like a lot from the age of since 2003, 2002. I was already reading English every day online, right, and watching stuff online. But back then there was not a lot of videos. There was no
Yeah.
YouTube. You would get the cool DVDs like Battle for the Olympias. I would use like torrent,
Oh yeah.
torrent
Or
stuff.
watch Jay Cutler in the Day in the Life. Watch for him for 4 hours buying
Eating
groceries,
food, yeah. Watch
Yeah.
eating food.
eating every meal and writing it down what he ate.
I guess the content you had to buy it, DVDs and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
By Mitsuru Okabe.
yeah.
Yeah, but when I watch movies, now that I think of it, I like subtitles. But it's just because sometimes in English, when there's accents, I really have
Oh
trouble
yeah.
understanding. I don't know because I'm still I'm still
What's
French.
what's
You
the
know?
hardest one for you to understand? Like a southern, like, "Hey, bub, how you doing?" Or is it like
No,
more like a
Southern
New
is not
York?
bad. It's sometimes UK like Liverpool, like Nathan
Yeah,
Biasha. I'm like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
No,
can't
it's
understand.
same. Yeah.
But
yeah, yeah,
everybody that's English, like they understand him. I'm like, really? Oh, it's strange.
yeah.
It's
They have
really
some
hard for me.
weird slang.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But other than
my
that,
old neighbor was from the UK, and it was like she had that real strong. I don't know where she was from, Birmingham, Liverpool, but it was like every once in a while she'd come up with some term for something. And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she'd be like, "The boot of the car," and I'm like, it's like the trunk. Oh, but or she like she'd always talk about her garden. I'm like, "You don't have what are you talking about? You don't have a garden?" She's like, "Yeah, my garden." She meant her yard, you know.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, Antoine, another one. I'm going to give you this
Yeah.
one because you may know it. I don't know if this is. It says, "Is apple juice the secret ingredient for gains?"
Apple juice. I think I had like
Did you ever drink that in one of your
Well,
videos?
some of these
yeah.
questions, I wonder if they sound like inside jokes. Like,
Yeah, I know. I'm like, does
are they serious, or
Well,
did
the
they put
apple
out some
juice.
content
I
about apple
think
juice?
I think the apple juice is after I tore my right bicep, I gotta gain back my size, so I started eating so much food. I went up to 330 pounds, and every meal I would add apple juice.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
So it
like
is
I
a
went up like
like
secret.
a carb? Yeah.
oh, and back then I didn't check my blood sugar, obviously, because I would have probably freaked out. But apple juice was like that thing, and it has to be the one where it just it says just apples, and it's like the brown thick one.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah.
like right
Yeah.
from the farm.
It
So
is one of the secrets to gains, but back then I was drinking with every meal. I don't recommend that because obviously type 2.
yeah, you don't want to get type 2.
No.
But moving on with like your career, man. I mean, you turned pro eventually. You had you still have a great, amazing physique. But the Cali, I believe it was 2020 that you took the Cali.
Yeah, my first pro win, Cali Pro. Yeah,
I have
Yeah.
a question on that. What was your weight for that show compared to previous shows?
I think I was heavier at the Cali. Well, I think I was like lighter. No, the funny thing is that for New York, the New York Pro I did the week prior, I had 7th place, right? And then a week later, I win first
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
I don't think that's ever been done before. I gotta check that, but I thought it was pretty cool. But I was like flat at New York Pro, and then I ate 1,000 grams of carbs for 9 days straight, pretty much, like from
Yeah.
before New York Pro all the way to Cali. And then I won that, and I think I was 260. Like Dorian would know, my coach. I think I was like 260 something, but like 261, 62. And before when I arrived for the New York Pro, that was like I think it was in Tampa. I was 254 when I landed, so I had to eat my way like 8 pounds at least. So I think I was 261. And then the last show, I was heavier the whole prep. No, pretty much I was like 270. I was 270 the whole prep, and then at the end I kind of went down, and then I went down to like the low 260s. And then even though I didn't cut water and I carved up, my body just got freaking dry and went down to 257, 58 when I went to Chicago. So I was just under 260.
How tall are you?
I'm like 183 centimeters, which is like
How many is that in like Hogshead?
this much less than 6 foot. So I'm like,
Yeah,
with shoes,
okay.
I'm like 6 foot. So I
Gentleman,
say,
6 foot.
Yeah,
gentlemen,
gentleman, 6 foot. It's
Yeah.
in American terms. My car gets 18 rods to the Hogshead, and that's how I like it.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's I remember, what was the show where they had like the down lighting, or was it the up lighting?
That was Cali Pro.
Cali.
You know where they had
Dude,
that though?
that was crazy. So when I saw that show, I was like, man, what the hell is going on? Because it was awesome, but it reminded me of like, dude, this is our 99 English Grand Prix, when like Flex and, Kevin were like posing in that crazy lighting. I'm like, this is ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But what happened with that show? Do you know what happened, Justin, with that show?
I don't think so.
So it was during COVID, right?
Yeah.
And this whole time, all the way up until I won that show, I had already prepped for a year because I was in Boston, cancel because of the pandemic, right? So
well, that's why I was asking, because I remember following you and I knew you had been dieting a long time. So I wondered if your weight stayed up or not. You looked big, but I didn't, sometimes you can't tell.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been in shape the best around the low 260s so far. And the Olympia I did in 2020, I was 270 something. But I was still shredded, but I find that, I don't know, sometimes even though like you don't have a gut, you're a little bit more like bloated or thick here. You say, how much pounds? It's if the guy is doing you can tell the guy is like, he's like a little bit thick in the weights, right?
Yeah.
Like how much pounds is in there?
Oh yeah,
like, the guy is 275 on stage. But maybe if I lost like 7 pounds of here, I would be even better at lower weight.
Yeah, that's the hardest part at the pro level, because early on you're just trying to get big. You go through like the local show and the regional and then the national. You need to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you need to get shredded. But then at the pro level, there's another element, because you can be big and shredded and it still might not be your best look. You have to really find what your best look is.
Yeah. I find that for me, I like when there's a feeling with my waist that I have that I know when it's flat and it's easy to pose and move around and do the quarter turns. I like that feeling, but it's like I've won a couple shows now, but like every time I've done the Olympia, I mean, I got my ass kicked. So what do I need to do? I think it's just with time, probably more size, but like just like in the arms, chest, shoulders, back, all around, right? Wide and thick. And I'm just like, how am I supposed to do that without like, I guess it's just time, right? But like I'm wondering because I know because I was 270, almost 75 in 2020, and I got like 16th place. And then this year's Olympia, there was double the amount of people. To be honest, I was like right in the middle, but I was a little bit lighter. But I wonder if I was better. I don't even have like good pictures because when you're like third, fourth call out, it's like you get one picture of like it's the end there.
And it's never you're never even in your pose. They post a picture and you're like doing this halfway into a double bicep.
I know.
Like, oh, come on.
But it's hard to say, right? Like I try to think like I like myself when I'm like really shredded and the waist is tight, but I know that I need to be full as fuck to win a show, like even better, like so sometimes like I won the Cali Pro, but I was the only guy who was really on, you know what I mean? Like
you look good
like,
that show. You did look good though.
What were you saying was going on with that one, Antoine?
Oh yeah. Well, the Gwindy brothers, it was the Cali Pro in Vegas. Because California was like, we're closing.
Oh, that was
So they were like, fuck. They were about to cancel the show. I'm like, man, can you? I was like, I hope they don't. And then the Gwindy brothers, they were like, we're gonna do it in Vegas because Vegas gave less of a shit, and it was like literally in a weird warehouse that like they could rent for, I don't know what it was for, storage or something. And then they only had this limited amount of people allowed, no crowd. So there was a clicker, a guy in a clicker. All right, click, you're good. You're doing the garbage. You're a coach. Okay, you go in. So there was like that a clicker for like 60 people maximum.
Like at a bar.
Like
the bouncer at a bar.
Yeah, pretty much. So the lighting is the best they could come up with a short amount of time. With the what they had, they couldn't put lights up top because it was a storage depot. So they put the lights going up like that. But kudos to like the Windy Bros. Like they made it happen.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really happy that show happened, even though people are like, oh, it's the worst sliding or whatever. The stream was terrible. Yeah, but they still did it. They could have said no.
That's why you never, no good deed goes unpunished. That's like anything that you do as a business owner. You put all this work and you make it happen, and then all you do is get shit on online for it.
Yeah.
For every real difficult feat, there's a million people online ready to trash it.
I know. So I'm wondering, like, it's not my business to ask anyway, but did they even break even? Like,
I can't imagine they could have, because the streams get pirated and shared, and then with no crowd, and then no venue, like even the small. Even like if you have a small venue, you got people paying, $1,000 for booth, and you got, 12 people there. That's 12,000 right there. And, the little things add up. I mean, it's so expensive to sit in the crowd at a pro show, and most people, like, friends and family are going to prejudging and finals. You're getting like $250 out of every single person.
They
lose all that. Yeah,
they did not break even for sure. So it's like they did that just because they wanted to keep going, right?
Yeah.
Like Arnold did the Arnold Classic, and I think he lost a lot of money that year. There was one year he still did it. It wasn't the first Arnold during the pandemic. It was the second one. I heard that he lost a lot of money, but he still did it.
Do you think that's why he was making those changes, like pulling the classes and everything, just to
pulling the classes, like figures, not the Arnold, for example?
Yeah, and they pulled 212, right? Too.
I don't know.
Jeez, I don't even remember. I forgot about that. Did they
pull 212?
Wow, I don't even remember.
Yeah, they almost pulled the amateur.
Yeah.
Luckily, they
I
didn't.
don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Arnold's probably hurting after that. I saw online that his net worth went from $880 million to $879.9 million.
What a shame.
So it was a rough.
I think he lost
rough year.
Million?
Yeah.
Wow. That's but yeah, I mean, so obviously you have tons of experience winning shows, being on the Olympia stage. We got a show coming up in Canada this weekend, so we wanted to see let's say, I don't know, let's not make it super hard. Let's do like top 4. Who do you think a top 4 placing?
Do we know who's in it? Do we have a competitor?
Yeah. Let me. Yeah. I actually brought. 1 sec. I got this already. It's like I did prepare. I said prepare for this, but I didn't. It was for the other podcast I did last week.
Man is ready.
Man is ready. I actually made a prediction, kind of. All right, so we got Robin. I don't know if Beef Stew's doing it. We got Joe Seaman, Ian, Hassan Mustafa, Sahar Kazes, Shaban, Lee Jungmin, and Jason Lowe, aka Broku, and Aaron Godley. Aaron Godley is another Canadian pro bodybuilder is doing it. I just saw him today, just like an hour ago, actually. And so all of these people, who else is doing it? Is there Ross doing it? I think Ross is doing it, right?
Yeah, Ross is doing it now. Stu's not doing it.
Why is Ross doing it? That's I would have.
He's doing it.
Don't you want to go like you want your first pro show? Sometimes you sign the contracts already.
Yeah.
You have to do them, because if you don't do one, you got to give a good excuse, and if not, there's a $5,000 fine.
I was gonna say, doesn't the IFBB fine you if you don't do the show?
I don't heard of it ever happening, and that's why in 2013 I came in so off. I was so scared to be billed and to be banned from the IFBB, even though I was not even dieting. I was partying. I was still gonna show up to the show, and I looked terrible. But you can actually just when I tore my bicep, I told them, "Hey, this happened. I'm sorry, I can't compete." So okay, they didn't even ask for a doctor's notice. Nothing. So they're pretty lenient. But it's more like if you say you're doing the Arnold and then you pull a week out, and it's like you're a big name. So they put the rules for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So, but to tell you, now that Russ Flanagan is doing it, and the way he's looking, super polished, shredded, huge legs, big arms, thick, good presence on stage, and just like a lot of muscle mass.
Yeah.
I'm like, can he beat Ian?
I can see that's going to be a tough one. And especially because it'll be interesting, because he's probably going to be really full, because he's probably been eating.
Yeah.
And so
I'm always better the second show myself, and that's the third one in a row. So we'll see, because he did the New York, right?
Ross didn't do New York. No.
No, what did he do?
Ross
just, California. He just won the California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that now, yeah, it might be even fuller.
Yeah,
time.
it's basically the same thing you did. It was like 1 week later. Yeah,
Yeah.
like New York, North California. Yeah, I think it'll be Ross, Ian, Hassan, and I'm hoping Joe Seaman.
Yeah.
He set picks today. He's looking better than he did before.
How did Shaban look at the whatever show that just happened?
I don't think he's done a show. I don't even think he did the Arnold this year.
No, like the show that just happened that Ross win.
The Cali, he didn't do Cali.
Really?
Yeah, we did, bro. We did a live stream, so I don't know. We might have got in trouble for that, but yeah, he won that Cali.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. So who's from the Calis doing the Toronto besides Ross?
Ross, Stu's not doing it. Tonio, I don't think is doing it.
I don't think anybody in the top. Anything.
Yeah, I don't think anyone. I think it's just Ross.
You know what happens sometimes is that a lot of Americans, because you don't need a passport, because there's a lot of stuff to visit within the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys that don't go to the Canada just because they don't have a passport.
Yeah, because it used to not be that way when I was a kid. Because I lived right across from Sarnia in Port Huron, and so like in America, when you turn 21, you can drink. But for us, it was when you turn 19 because we could just cross the border, and it was 5 minutes from from my house, and it was nothing. Like as long as the person driving had a driver's license, that was fine. But it's all different now.
I know it is. So a lot of guys are not competing in Canada just for that reason. So that's why some of the shows lower caliber. But to be honest, the Cali Pro, the Toronto Pro, usually the New York Pro is the third biggest show. This year it was it's weaker than Toronto. So that's pretty crazy, but exciting because it's a show I drive 30 minutes and I go see a pro show. So that's pretty cool for me. But I think my first prediction was before I knew Ross was doing it, was Ian was winning. Just because of the history of placings and his consistency, even though when he's off, he's still good enough to beat most people.
Big. I mean, he's big. Yeah, he's got enough size where he can be off a little bit and still look good.
I mean, his side shots are amazing.
Yeah.
Side try, side chest, side relax, really, really good. Sometimes in the front is he's gonna look flat. Sometimes a little bit tough. It didn't bother him in the past. And the back, this is where he gets is he off or on, right?
Yeah.
It's he's got a lot of shit from people for his back at the Olympia and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But Ian said he was stressed out and he had a few excuses that he said that it's understandable, right? It's a big show. Who knows?
Well, yeah, people don't real that. You got most people criticizing never compete, and then the ones that do compete, they do they've done one show, and they're and at amateur level, you do one show a year, and maybe you have to qualify and you do 2 shows, and so it's that's all you have to worry about. I mean, the pro level, you gotta be on point, multiple shows. And then if you qualify for the Olympia, then you got to get in shape all over again a few months later. And then you're never allowed to, if you're off by a little bit, everyone's just trashing you. And it's you
don't understand also when you're backstage, you're pumping up and then you're like, should I go to the bathroom or not? Should I go take a poop or not? And then you're like, am I feeling my chest? And then you look into your right, Derek Lunsford. Looking to your left, Hadi Chupin. Looking in front of you, Big Ramy.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes you can not stress yourself out, but depending how you are with your thinking, you can make yourself stress out. So
because you always see yourself as worse than you are anyways. I mean, I think all of us bodybuilders see everyone else as better than they are, and we see ourselves as worse than we are.
Yeah, then you're like, should I stand up? Should I lay down with my feet up? Should I flex a little bit? Then I'm like, am I watery or is it just the lighting backstage?
Yeah.
Whole backstage. That was
all oiled up, round and full. You're like, man. So it's sometimes I think Ian, you can easily stress yourself out, and it can affect the physique. So or sometimes you will try things, or who knows, right? I don't know what he did. But obviously, the Olympia, it wasn't his best showing. I think his best showing is when he got second place at the Arnold.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
that was really good. So if he comes back like that, I think he beats
first. Yeah, you got him
Ross. But Ross right now, I saw him last week. He's fucking peeled.
He was,
and everything is there, right? And I really like his physique, and his back double is just crazy. I find
so much detail.
and the condition is there with the size and fullness. So if Ian is off and Ross is like last week, I think Ross will win. But if Ian is like top of the line, Ian level, I think he can beat Ross. And as far as for the other two people, I mean Hassan, he goes at my gym sometimes, huh? Mustafa.
He's so bubbly.
Yeah.
He look in pictures. He looks so round.
His arms. I see him in the gym. I'm like, I look at his arm because I talk to him sometimes. He doesn't speak English or whatever. But his wife, she's actually from Burlington. She's actually she speaks perfect English with no accent. So she translates, and for him, he always has the trouble getting really shredded, and he takes he starts 20 weeks out.
Oh man,
with a lot of cardio. It's just hard for him. I just wonder if it's the best. Maybe like there's something he could do better, but I don't know exactly. But he's working really hard, and right now the pictures I've seen of him, he looks like he's really, really lean. So I know he's worked super hard. And when I see him in person, every time I'm like, I look at his arms, I'm like, what the fuck? Looks like legs.
Yeah.
It's
I've
like,
never seen him in person, but he just looks so but he looks like a 5x5. Like
his arms
like
are, I don't know, they look
box.
like, the crazy arms. Crazy. One of the craziest arms I've seen in real life, and I've seen like a lot of big arms, because I've been backstage and I've been in shows like you guys, So it's one of the craziest arms I've seen. That's almost stuff up. So I think it's gonna be, like you said, probably in the top 4. Do you have anybody else on that? Joe Seaman will be
Joe.
I think Joe last showing was really good.
Yeah, that was best he's looked in New York.
Yeah.
He's looking better. He's looking better at 5 days out than he did at New York. So I'm excited.
Hey, John, do you have one last question? I just realized it's 8.
Yeah.
On 8.
Yeah.
One more question?
So the last question we've been asking people with our podcast, if you had to miss one, bro, which one would you miss? A training session, a meal, or a night's sleep?
You know what? Right now, I probably miss a meal because I can double the next meal.
Touche.
Huh?
I
think a night of sleep, that was me in my party days. I was like, fuck sleep.
Yeah.
Now a night of sleep, when I was younger, I could sleep 2 hours and, but now I'm like, man, I'm not missing sleep. I think sleep is the last thing I'm going to miss.
Yeah.
And now if I miss a training session, I can actually switch my split around and my day off. That's like, I can like have my training there. So I'm not really missing it.
Yeah.
But for the meal, like I said, I'd rather, I'm not going to eat now. And then I'll just fucking be hungry for 3 hours and then do a double meal.
Well, Antoine, Justin and I wanted to thank you personally for coming on our podcast, man.
Yes.
You've been an inspiration to a lot of people over the last decades. So
I've been a fan since 08. So
nothing but success for you, man, in the future. So if you ever need anything from us, let us know. But for Justin, myself, and Antoine, this is the Goon Platoon signing out.
Goon Platoon.